They want to call you lazy, they want to be, you're a baby, you're this, you're that. No, I have a very serious condition called post-viral fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Time to get with it. Stop being judgmental and closed-minded. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan and I have post-viral fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. And in today's video, I just wanted to come on here and give you guys an update. If you're interested in knowing, then keep on watching. Also, you guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel and hopefully getting the word out more about post-viral fatigue syndrome. And first of all, I just want to say I apologize because so many of you have been asking for an update video. You guys are always asking for updates if I'm still sick, how I'm doing. Not much has changed with my condition. I do want to say that I have plateaued in the amount of healing that I've been doing. I wouldn't say, well, it's hard for me to say if I'm getting worse or not because, listen, they keep changing my meds. And before I continue, I just want to say I'm not a medical professional. Please go work with doctors. Don't just take my word for things. Fibro and post-viral fatigue syndrome, they're very, very hard conditions to be diagnosed with. There are so many testing and doctors that you need to go see to rule everything else out in your life before you could be diagnosed with these conditions. So please don't just take my videos as proof. I know so many people think they have post-viral fatigue syndrome when they don't. It's very hard to get this diagnosis. You have to undergo a ton of tests. If you want that stamp, yes, this person 100% has post-viral fatigue syndrome. And it's important to get that stamp if you do have it, because you're gonna need to take care of yourself and there may be benefits that are available to you that you will need throughout your life. These conditions are disabilities through and through. There's no going around it. There's levels of severity of it, but if you have it and you're bedridden and you're having a hard time, you really need to be treating with multiple professionals to get that stamp of approval to make sure you are getting access to benefits that you deserve and, quite frankly, that you need to live a decent life in this world. So how have I been? I'm just gonna name some meds that I'm on. I'm still taking my Cymbalta to level out my moods. I absolutely love my Cymbalta. It helps with I think it's also a fibromyalgia drug, but I got on it, it stopped helping with my body pain, but I ended up still liking it because it benefited just my all-around mood. When you live with chronic pain and chronic fatigue, you're not in the best of moods. You're short-tempered, you're irritated, and that's, honestly, I'm here to tell you that that's not your fault. If you're coming across as like an irritated, like annoyed person, you know, the only thing I have to say to people who are not suffering with our conditions is like, you go be in pain 24/7 and put a smile on your face and not be annoyed whatsoever by anything in this world. Going through life in pain is a challenge. It's hard to smile. When people are irritating you, your head is pounding, your back is hurting, it's gonna be a little harder to put a smile on your face and keep moving along. We are irritated. We can't help it. It's not our fault. We just are dealing with a lot internally, and a lot of people don't like to hear us complain about our condition a lot. It either makes them uncomfortable or they're sick of hearing about it. So we're trying not to talk about it as much because we don't want to lose friends and annoy family. But at the same time, just because we're not talking about it, it's still happening. So I just really strongly encourage people to just be patient and just have sympathy for people that are struggling with fibromyalgia because it is brutal. There's no going around it. I have been having to switch up my medications. So the Cymbalta I'm staying on. Amitriptyline, I need it. I need it to get out of bed every morning still. It keeps my headaches somewhat in check, not all the way, but it mostly helps with my fatigue and sensitivity. I am still fatigued on it, and I do not function like a normal person on it still, but I'm not 100% totally bedridden and miserable and just hating life. Like, it at least gets me up to make a coffee and do whatever I have to do in my house. So amitriptyline is one drug that I'm thankful for, but I'm also sad because I'm sad at how much I need it. Then I was on gabapentin for my headaches, and that was my I don't want to say the word cocktail because it kind of sounds like I abuse these drugs, but it's my recipe for comfort. But the gabapentin that I was on wasn't helping me as much as it should have. So with this condition, I've noticed I'm getting used to being in pain. I'm getting used to how my body feels on the day-to-day basis. So when things are bothering me, it's almost like I'm getting used to the pain and I don't realize just how comfortable I am. So for the longest time, I couldn't sleep in certain positions. Like I couldn't put my arms out, and I couldn't actually, I was to the point where I was sleeping in a fetal position, and I just had myself believing that it was normal and that I pulled a muscle, which is like, no, there's no way I pulled a muscle. Like that was fibro pain, and I was just so used to it that I was putting up with it. Then I met with a new rheumatologist. I believe the disability regulations require a rheumatologist for fibro, even though the fibro, post-viral fatigue and fibro, they kind of intertwine. For me, I don't really think there's a specific doctor that claims fibro. I think they still don't know enough about it, but quite frankly, the neurologist has been my most helpful doctor. And then I did meet a decent rheumatologist that claims he treats fibro. It's like on his list of specialties. And I did enjoy that appointment. So when I went to his appointment, he did my tender point test, and I was just like, I couldn't even be touched. I was like traumatized just by getting touched at the fibro tender point test. It's when they touch, apparently we have these points, these tender points in our body that scientists were able to discover where our fibro hurts the most. And if you touch them, we like can't handle it. Even if you just simply put your finger on it with no pressure, it still drives us nuts. So they do that test to confirm fibro and how severe you are. So once my rheumatologist confirmed, he just touched my body, he was able to feel just how firm I really was and tender my whole body was. And he's like, obviously the gabapentin isn't working. And I was like, really? I also wishful think. This condition makes me wishful think. I pretend like it's normal and like I'm fine, but really I'm like sleeping in a fetal position every night in pain and just like squinting my eyes all night until I go to sleep. He then said, well, I want to put you on lyrica, which is another fibromyalgia drug. I don't know if it's in the same family as gabapentin. Again, please don't, like, I'm not a specialist. I'm not a doctor. So like, I don't want to try to get too much into it. I just want to tell you guys what I'm on and what's working for me, just in case, just so people can know and be aware. Once he put me on the lyrica, my body, he wanted me off the gabapentin and to swap it out for lyrica. Once he did that, my body pain got better, but my migraines came back with a vengeance. I had a migraine, a blackout migraine, 24/7. I couldn't function. My body, I was back to sleeping in other positions other than fetal. I ended up having to call my neurologist and let him know. And he's like, honestly, Morgan, I would take you're going to have to take a gabapentin before you go to bed. So what was supposed to help me ended up just adding another drug to my list. So that's something that bothers me and that I actively try to fight still, is I hate all of these medications that I need to be on. Now, before we all start the marijuana comments and the, holistic and all that stuff, because I know that's coming. Everyone sells that to me like as if I haven't heard it before. Listen, I've had this since 2018. I'm exploring all routes, all avenues. I've traveled to Florida, to Philly, to like everywhere to get medical treatment. So I know a lot about what's going on with my condition and what works. So I did try the holistic approach, and I did try the diets that I did a video on with you guys. I think it was like the mitochondria diet that I was on from Mayo Clinic, and it was to rule out all of my potential allergies that may be, upsetting me more, because like I do have like bouts of irritable bowel syndrome, and I do have restless leg syndrome, and of course a sleep reversal disorder, which is all just tied into this lovely, nasty little world of fibromyalgia or post-viral fatigue syndrome. And I liked the diet. I definitely stuck to the diet, and I still do stick to the diet from what I learned from the diet, if you follow. So the diet was helpful in that I definitely learned that I had an egg allergy. And the egg allergy hurts my migraines more. So I know, okay, don't eat egg whites every day anymore. Like I don't even eat eggs. I try to ask for no egg if I can because I do get insane blackout migraines when I eat eggs. Dairy was definitely playing into my irritable bowel syndrome, so I've learned to cut back on dairy. And let me say this, the diet was nice and learning what irritated me. I do think that once I learned what foods worked for me, it helped with my sleep patterns a little better. I don't think it was a cure-all whatsoever. I didn't like diminish my symptoms in terms of pain, fatigue, and like all of that. But it just helped me learn more about my body. I think it's worth doing until you find your food triggers. Then once you find your food triggers, just kind of follow that path, and that helps. It just, you know what? It just helps. Anything for comfort with these conditions. So I definitely think those diets are worth a shot. Then I was seeing somebody, like I forget the type of doctor she was, but she was very like holistic, and she was very like an energy. She wasn't Reiki, full-on Reiki master, but she wasn't like a westernized doctor. She was like right in the middle, and she would just give me tips. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't get much from those appointments. I have a therapist already, and that helps me manage stress the best I can. And if you don't have a therapist, go get one, especially on these conditions, and definitely get stress management, because stress will always make your symptoms 10 times worse. Don't be ashamed to get a therapist. Do yourself a favor. Do your condition a favor. Go get a therapist. So, listen, a lot of you guys ask me what I think about Mayo Clinic, and I want to cover a lot of topics because I don't make these videos as much as I want to. You don't need a referral. You can call and make your own appointment, and when you give them your symptoms, they'll put you in touch with doctors. They'll give you a full schedule when you come down and visit, all within a week, and you're going to see multiple doctors within the week and take so many tests. Everything is right on site. It's really great. It's very efficient. Mayo Clinic is great for an accurate diagnosis. That's what I liked about Mayo Clinic, is if your doctors because my doctors were dancing around the fibro diagnosis, especially the post-viral fatigue syndrome diagnosis. They really just didn't know enough about it, and they were kind of dancing around it, and it sucked for me because I needed benefits. Like I can't do anything. And my doctors were hard to work with, and it was really disrupting my life. So anyway, I made my own appointment. I went down there. You don't need a referral. You see these great doctors. It's really great for an accurate diagnosis, because what happens with Mayo Clinic doctors is they send you back home with a diagnosis and a treatment plan that you need to go work with your local PCP on. So I liked going to Mayo Clinic initially because it was kind of like my paper, where it was like, no, you need to comply. Don't dance around this. Like, time to start treating and acknowledging. So like for me, like when I would say I have post-viral fatigue syndrome, the doctors would be like, yeah, it does take a little while to heal from a virus. I go, no. I have post-viral fatigue syndrome. Look it up. Then I whip out my document, give it to the doctor, and then they read it and they're like, oh, okay, we have to actually acknowledge this now. It's sad that we need to do that, but it's just our reality, especially with post-viral fatigue syndrome patients and being so young. A lot of us are pretty young with these conditions. Like, I'm 31, I got it when I was 29. So like, yeah, doctors don't want to listen to an otherwise healthy 29-year-old adult say they can't get out of bed every day. They want to call you lazy. They want to be, you're a baby, you're this, you're that. No, I have a very serious condition called post-viral fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Time to get with it. Stop being judgmental and closed-minded. Thank you. Next, Mayo Clinic, check. I did go to Mayo Clinic for a second time. You know what? I felt like it was a little bit of a waste. I don't recommend it. I think Mayo Clinic is great for a diagnosis, and that's it. So all in all, I still struggle with it. Just yesterday, I had a blackout migraine. My fibro was through the roof. It was brutal. But you eventually start to just get used to being sick. And I know that's kind of sad. Like, who wants to get used to being chronically in pain and chronically ill 24/7? When you have this condition, you kind of have no other choice. You know what I mean? Like, you either lay down and just let the condition just consume every part of your life, or you say, you know what? It's either sink or swim. I want to survive. I want to swim. I don't want to just be a prisoner to this condition. I still want to enjoy my life. And guess what? If I can't get off the couch that day, which let me be honest with you, driving and me doesn't mix well. I hate that. Oh, I can't drive myself long distances whatsoever. I always need somebody to drive me around. It sucks. I actually hate that. I wish I could get in my car and like drive 2 hours, but like honestly, it's a freaking project and it's a to-do, and I always need a constant driver with me to like make my life, like just having somebody drive me places, even for errands or anything, makes my world and my life a gazillion times easier. It sucks that it has to be that way, but it's what I need and I accept that. So all in all, I'm getting used to it. Sometimes I'm too used to it and I don't get myself the care that I should be getting because I'm just getting so used to it. It's not sad that I'm used to it. It's actually better this way because it improves my quality of life, that you have to adapt. I think that's the hardest part. And when I say you have to adapt, don't take that the wrong way. I take it the wrong way when people say this shit to me. I'm like, what do you mean I have to adapt? You adapt. Like I get it. What I mean is, I say adapt in that I know you are very limited. I know you can't get out of bed. I know you cannot do normal human everyday tasks like the rest of the world can do. I know that, okay? I don't expect it. I'm not telling you get out of bed every morning and go hike. Like, that's not happening. I'm not telling you go out of bed, get out of the bed, and exercise. Get out there and run. Don't run. Jeez Louise, don't run. Don't freaking run. I tried it. I was in a crash for at least a week afterwards. Just don't, listen, go online, because these people love to tell you to exercise and you're like, okay. Do you have fibromyalgia? No, I don't, but okay. All right, thank you. When it comes to exercising, if you can and when you can only, and if you're comfortable, go on YouTube and Google yoga for fibromyalgia patients. There it will show you some people that give you very, very minimal, gentle yoga poses. Do not overextend yourself. I'm talking if you could do 2 sets of leg lifts and that be it, then that's it. Don't push it. Like, I'm talking baby steps. So I think that's where I'm at with my treatment now. To answer your questions, I still have this. I'm still learning every day. I'm still trying to learn where to put my suppressed anger. Like, I still have a lot of like mental and emotional problems over this. Like, I mean, you know, one day I got a cough and then my whole life got turned upside down. So it takes a while to really get the hang of this new life. But a lot of people think I've recovered because like I'm always like active on my socials, but like you guys have to understand, or anyone who's wondering has to understand, is this is my life. Social media is my outlet to socializing with people because I physically can't do it. I accept that. I love doing this. I love talking to you guys. It actually fills my heart with so much joy, and I'm as happy as I can be. And at the end of the day, I still consider myself a fierce queen, and I'll slay the day even from the couch, baby. And so can you. Once you get through your first year, things tend to like get a little better in terms of what to expect. Your first year is very traumatizing. There's no sugarcoating it. I was a wreck my first year because nothing was being managed. I had fibromyalgia. I didn't fully know I had fibromyalgia. I knew nothing about fibromyalgia. Nothing was being managed. So I was trying to live my normal everyday life, and my life was upside down trying to go back to where I was, and it just wasn't happening. And as a result, you feel awful. You feel like you're dying. You're just like, it's very emotional and very hard your first year. Once you figure out exactly what you have, and when you're having your fibro crashes, nothing life-threatening is happening to you, you tend to calm down and to start adjusting to this new normal. Everybody, I hope you guys have a great day. Stay strong, stay as healthy as you can, stay as well as you can. If you need to rest, go and rest. If you feel like you want to enjoy some life, don't feel guilty to try to enjoy life like you used to. Do what you can and do what you love and be as comfortable as you can. I love you guys, and I'm sending gentle hugs your way. Love you. Bye.